Peace. So I've been finding myself in a lot of conversations in person and online regarding social justice, race, and equity, and in the injustice, particularly in this country right now, having to do with the state of things. And what's very interesting is a lot of the people who are criticizing or coming up with opposing stances and statements in regard to people having a problem with how things are being run right now, the choices that are being made in government, happen to be white men, which I find interesting, particularly those who are questioning the stances of people like myself, women, people who happen to be not white men, who feel there's a lot of inequity and injustice in this country, in the history of this country, and those white men kind of basically criticizing, saying that we're being anti-American or that we're hateful or racist because we're speaking against these things. I just find it really interesting that people who aren't subject to the conditions that are created by racism and who don't experience the inequities in this country normally, because inequity in this country is a very normal thing, that those people find a place to criticize, or that they feel they have a voice to determine whether or not the experiences of others and the point of view of others are valid or true, that they seem to see that we're exaggerating or we're looking to cause further division. Sometimes when things make you uncomfortable, it's a time to really look into that discomfort. Sometimes when things push our buttons or trigger us, it's time to kind of really examine what exactly we're being triggered by. You know, there's just an imbalance in this country. Since it's been founded, there's a long history of mistreatment, a long history of anyone who is not a white man not really regarded as human, especially if you don't have money and if you're not a landowner. That goes for white women as well. There's just been a history of mistreatment and neglect and oppression. And if we don't look deep into that and understand the history and look into what it's done, what kind of conditions that it's created, we may be overlooking the solution to these issues. We can't just get past things and get over things when those things aren't over. Every action creates a wave in the universe, and those waves are reactions that turn into realities. And things that have happened hundreds of years ago, they persist and they continue in the life and the DNA and the genetic and spiritual memory of the people who are subject to those things. So, just because people say slavery is over, which it never really was, it kind of changed shape. Definitely the same conditions don't exist, but a lot of the beliefs that perpetuated it and a lot of the social conditions that perpetuated it and the economic, focuses that perpetuated it, those things still exist. People have carried on those legacies, and it still affects many of us. So, we may need to look deeper into the true history of this country. We may do a little bit more research other than what we're taught in school, and other than what our perspective may reveal to us, to start understanding what's going on for other people and what we may not be experiencing that others are experiencing. Just like men don't experience what women experience, we're not really qualified to judge whether or not they feel uncomfortable or whether they feel like something is an imbalance or an inequity from if we're not experiencing those things. It's really a time to listen. If we really truly care about each other, if we really truly care about repairing things and transforming reality, we really need to start listening now. If there's a complaint, there's some type of truth to that complaint. Judging each other and just kind of wishing we could all just play nice right now, that's not going to work. because it hasn't been nice for a lot of people for a very long time. Some people have had the luxury of being comfortable and the privilege of being comfortable, but it's time to think about the fact that if you're comfortable and so many others aren't, then maybe you're the one in the position to kind of change things and listen to those who are not comfortable, and maybe become an ally and look deeper into what's going on, other than saying something doesn't exist or something's being exaggerated just because it doesn't happen to be the truth of what you experience. So yeah, open minds, become more compassionate, exercise a little bit more empathy, listen, study, research, be quiet, and just, respect the experience of others, because that's the only way things are going to change. I really take a look at what's going on and think about, like, if we're allying ourselves with something because we feel it benefits us, is that a selfish choice? Is it really benefiting the greater good? Is it benefiting the all, or is it just benefiting our own beliefs and ideals, yet at the same time causing the suffering of others? I don't understand how that can sit with some people. It really doesn't sit with me. So let's do a little bit better with our humanity. All right, peace.